So far, the 2020 NBA season has been one for the record books. We've seen so many things that I never thought we'd see in the NBA. Players turning routine deep threes in the 40-foot layups. We've seen the growth of young teams. We've seen young superstars start to ascend. We've seen one of the most polarizing rookies ever take the floor. In a draft class that looks like it's going to shape the future of the NBA in more ways than we know. We've seen players try to take the crown from LeBron, only for him to grab it right back in his age 35 season. LeBron has spent a heavy dose of this season letting everybody know that the king is not done yet. The history books are still wide open and waiting to be written. The Lakers are one of the greatest franchises in sports history. They have a long line of legends, some of the best players to ever touch a basketball. Every player making their mark felt in a different way. Let's take a moment. Let's go back. Let's go far back. Okay, well, maybe not that far back. Let's go back to before the season even started. We saw so many moves that reshaped the NBA as we know it. The power balance shifted right before our eyes. Let's start in the Big Easy. The Pelicans get Zion Williamson. Not only do they get Zion Williamson, they get Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and a lot of picks. But even more so, they get a breath of fresh air, and so would AD. But I'm not there yet. The Pelicans, they would go through the lowest of lows this season, and Brandon Ingram, he would make a name for himself despite all of the doubting. Did I mention that ZO2 could shoot now? Oh yeah, that's right. He's been reviving and resurging his career in New Orleans. The Big Easy's been treating Zoe right, but not too right. Remember those Zion memes? Yeah, I thought those were pretty foul too. What was even more foul was Pop doubling in Zion's debut, and the back-to-back-to-back trades that Zion hit to erupt the crowd. Let's take things to Los Angeles. What could go wrong? Apparently, nothing. Frank Vogel, the Lakers, LeBron, they all had this team playing at a very high level for a majority of the season. The league's as wide open as it's ever been. And you guys really thought LeBron wasn't going to take advantage of it? LeBron's been getting back to the basics, proving to the league that if you can't stop him on the block, then you're gonna be in for a long night. We got to see the matchup of Luka Doncic and LeBron James. LeBron was absurd, 39 points, 12 boards, and 16 assists, while young superstar Luka put up 31 points, 13 boards, and 15 assists. Luka's had the Mavs playing out of their minds, one of the best modern offenses in NBA history. In this game, history will be made. LeBron and Luka both simultaneously became the youngest and oldest player to ever achieve a 30, 10, and 15 stat line. And they did it in the same game. It was legendary. Sort of like LeBron's fadeaway against the Boston Celtics when the Lakers were down 1 with 30 seconds left. LeBron did what he always did. He backed down Jaylen Brown before he would turn around and seal the game. While we're talking about game winners, let's talk about the Chi City Bulls. Zach LaVine's a phenomenal player, and he's been playing big all season. He had one of the most intense and craziest game winners I'd ever seen. He capped off a 49-point performance, dragging the Bulls to a victory over the Charlotte Hornets, despite being down 8 with only 40 seconds left. It was no 13 points in 33 seconds, but it didn't have to be. LaVine scored 13 three-pointers in that game, including 3 in the last minute alone. You could scream LaVine and the Bulls need some help, but boy, does coaching go a long way, and so does the development of young point guard Kobe White. Coming into this season, Kobe White drew comparisons to Gilbert Arenas, one of the most dynamic scorers the point guard position has ever seen, and somebody that was way before their time. Arenas is a 3-time All-NBA player and a 3-time All-Star. Speaking of which, Kobe's been playing like one since the All-Star break. Averaging around 22 points since the break on 43% from the field, Kobe's game is saying all we needed was a chance. Yo, since you guys want to talk about scoring, let's go ahead and let's talk about James Harden and the H-Town Rockets. You can hate on Harden, but the buckets count all the same. Step back after step back. It seemed like Harden was on pace to average 40 points a game this season. My boy Harden was so good that the refs tried to stop him. Against the Spurs, Harden faced one of the most controversial calls in NBA history. If nothing else, it got everybody talking. James Harden and Russell Westbrook team up, one of the most dynamic duos in the league currently. The athleticism and the drive of Russell Westbrook, alongside the scoring prowess and playmaking of James Harden, two do-it-all players who are MVPs in their own right. The past few months, Russ has been absolutely absurd. The Rockets would trade for Robert Covington, go all in on small ball. So crazy that it just might work. While everybody was laughing, Russ was putting in work. An explosive season from Russ, averaging 28, 8, and 7. And at times, he's looked like the best player in the NBA. How could you hate a duo as exciting as Harden and Russell Westbrook? Maybe I should ask Giannis, because one thing is for certain. Harden and Giannis in the past, they've had their differences. Who doesn't love a good rivalry between two MVPs? Giannis has had the Bucks playing historically good basketball and a point differential that would outpace the championship Warriors. You look at how they do it, the Bucks are a big, physical team, and they're hungry. But it remains to be seen if they can win in the playoffs with Chris Middleton as their second option. Middleton is heavily underrated, but so is the loss of Malcolm Brogdon. Look, I know the Bucks have been fine, but that's another impact player that I think they'd still like to have. Shout out to the Pacers for holding it down while Depot got healthy. And shout out to Sabonis for notching his first All-Star game. Those old Thunder teams have had some talent, haven't they? The crazy thing is they still do. CP3 has the Thunder playing out of their minds alongside Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Everybody thought CP3 was done, but he wasn't. Don't call it what he's doing vintage either, because he's made it known this is no small sample size. The emergence of Shai coming from the Clippers has been huge. The Thunder got so many first-round picks, I don't even want to talk about it. And the Clippers, they got Paul George, and Kawhi wasn't coming any other way. The 2019 Finals MVP back again and playing at a high level. The Battle of LA has been real. The Clippers #2 in the Western Conference, and the Lakers #1. Some will say that's how it should be, but this Clippers team is deep, and they've been working on that new identity for some time now. And one of the best feel-good moments of the year, we got to see Carmelo Anthony return to playing the game of basketball at a professional level. Carmelo is 35 going on 36. He's still playing basketball at a high level and better than a vast majority of the league. Vintage fadeaway after fadeaway, jab step after jab step. He's been helping what seemed like a dismantled and hopeless Blazers team compete for that #8 spot in the Western Conference that it seems like everybody wants. Don't sleep on Dame either. He's single-handedly rewriting the record book on deep threes, not only volume-wise, but efficiency-wise too. I guess PG was wrong. It is a good shot, and it was a good shot. Let's talk Ja Morant. We look at the 8th spot, and we look at Ja, and we look at this Grizzlies team, and we say, man, nobody saw them being here before the start of the year. But that's the beauty of basketball. At times, you have to expect the unexpected. For instance, did I expect Ja to almost clear Kevin Love? No, I didn't. But I guess you could say I should have been expecting that one. Because dating back to Murray State, we've seen what Ja can do. We're talking about one of the most explosive and creative players with the ball in their hand. It's hard to bring up explosive and not bring up Swipe of the Fox. De'Aaron has taken a major step forward and has the Sacramento Kings, who have been an afterthought, fighting in the Western Conference for that 8 seed. While we in Cali, let's take things back to the Bay Area. D'Lo in the Bay seemed like a match made on so many different levels that was just absolutely perfect. We could talk about basketball-wise, fashion-wise, whatever. D'Lo in the Bay was supposed to be a movie. It took them a few games to get their first win, but when they got it, I thought, oh man, here we go again. The celebration was epic, but a few games later, the Warriors would lose Curry to an unfortunate injury. I don't know about you guys, but to me the league is a much better place when Curry is playing. But anyways, that didn't stop teams from getting their revenge. Golden State would cut the D'Lo experiment short. He gets shipped to Minnesota for Andrew Wiggins, who now D'Lo teams up with Cat. The Timberwolves would make out as giant winners at the trade deadline, having their backcourt of the future with Malik Beasley and D'Lo. Beasley looks like a high-level player with some pop to his game. He just needed a chance, and he's making the most of it. Durant teams up with Kyrie in Brooklyn. Who saw that coming? Kyrie's very first game in Brooklyn, he dropped 50 in a loss. You know who hasn't been losing much? The Toronto Raptors. Siakam took the step forward that everybody expected him to. While they lost Kawhi, they've made the most of an otherwise good situation. Hey man, Ujiri's a beast. There's a reason why the Knicks wanted him so bad. Sorry Knicks fans. At least RJ Barrett has shown massive promise. With a high pick in this year's NBA draft, New York could really make its mark. Jason Tatum. That's it. That's the sentence. This guy's been becoming a bona fide superstar. High-level two-way player and an elite three-level scorer. He's a beast alongside Jaylen Brown, and please don't sleep on the addition and the calm and coolness of Kemba Walker. What kind of person would I be if I didn't talk about my favorite city? They said Jimmy Butler was toxic. What they must have meant is this guy is a culture changer. What Butler does goes far beyond the stat sheet. The same with Bam Adebayo, a versatile do-it-all all-star with supreme athleticism. Have you guys seen some of this guy's dunks? Miami's cool, but so is the emergence of undrafted rookie Kendrick Nunn. This season has had so many storylines and narratives, it's mind-boggling. Perhaps one of my favorite is Derrick Rose showing to everybody that he still has it. I've said that a lot in this video, but it couldn't be any more true for Derrick Rose. He's captured our hearts time and time again. While this season was historic, perhaps there was none more historic than the All-Star game and the format change. We lost legends. In the NBA, the format change, it sparked one of the most exciting All-Star games in NBA history. As basketball fans, we consumed and we watched every moment of it. We felt like we were a part of the game, but the game, it was bigger than just basketball. February 6th, the Rockets matched up with the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron raced down the floor after a Lakers steal, and LeBron landed a dunk that brought us back. An iconic moment that brought us back all the way to 2001. It's been a season full of drama, excitement, and jaw-dropping highlights. There's no telling what's next.